Hello, everybody. This is RockTracks Archive. I'm responsible for all the nonsense you listen to on the page. And this is a tool that I use not to restore audio, but this is my guitar. So I'm going to add some other things. The channel is rock, not like rock is that popular in the United States anymore, but I'm Gen X, and it was part of my culture and what I did back when it was. And this is my little instrument that I used back in the day to to do that stuff with. I see a lot of videos nowadays. They talk about relic instruments and the price of these things. It's ridiculous. I think if I was a kid, uh, I wouldn't say I still have any money, but if I was a kid, I would get like I'd probably buy a Firefly. Not, I'm not getting paid by those guys, by the way. I don't make any money anyway, but they're cheap, and there's a lot of testimonials that Fireflies that they play well, and you don't have to worry so much about the instrument. You can get your tones and everything. You can concentrate on your work. But like historically, a lot of people bought these guitars because of Slash. I was not a Guns N' Roses fan. Nothing against them. I was more into heavier stuff. Maybe some grungy stuff. Maybe some drone doom type music. Went through phases. Fu Manchu, big Fu Manchu fan. But yeah, Jimmy Page. He was the guy that. Again, not a huge Zeppelin fan, but guys like Slash, Jimmy Page, they played these things and made them popular. And even back in the like the old days, they drove the prices through the roof. I paid $500 for this thing back in the early '90s, and yeah, let's see if I can turn this over. It's yeah, I I put this cover on brand new, and like these knobs, these are brand new. Again, in '90s, Carvin had a little book that you could order parts and stuff like speed knobs from, and I replaced the other knobs with these to get a better grip on these. And same thing with that cover. The other one is just pretty worn out, and I was just trying to clean the guitar up a little bit. I know they call them a relic and they charge a bunch of money for them nowadays. I don't understand. Well, it's marketing, but I'm not necessarily a marketing genius, so it's not like I can go about and whatever. So anyway, it was for sale for $500, and before this, I played a Conrad. It was a pawn shop guitar, and it had that pickup in it, and that's a that I had put in. It's a JB Jeff Beck pickup from Seymour Duncan. That's older than the guitar. Well, not this actual guitar, but it's again 1990. I think I bought that pickup, but yeah. I got this for $500, and it was a real Gibson as compared to like an Epiphone or some of the Japanese copies. And the knockoffs back in the day were not very good. As anyone who's Gen X or even like Boomer, the knockoffs were pretty bad. They wouldn't stay in tune, and you had to do some serious work with them to, well, I will say that Epiphones were good. I was looking at those because I got this thing for 500. That's why I passed on the Epiphone, and I still had to go and use a credit card to get it home with me, and then make payments on it while working as a third shift janitor, mopping and stripping floors and cleaning toilets. That's how I got this thing. I bought that too, right there, the new Les Paul Custom. It was just empty. You could just get right into it was truss rod, hole there. And I bought that brand new to plug that up. I apologize if I'm jumping around in my topics a little bit. Again, a side effect from the stroke that I had. Concentration is around, it jumps around a little bit, but I'll try to get as much done as I can. I could reshoot as much as I want and try to make it more professional, but it would take me forever. It would be cut. So, yeah, prices of guitars nowadays are ridiculous, and I got this, and I was stuck with it. It was nice. You're probably looking at that, wondering, hey, what is that? I don't know. An old school. It's an old school tremolo, not a tremolo. It's not a big speed. It's a little vibrato thing. So there's a hole right there. The whammy. I never was big into whammy bars. I like, Van Halen was cool enough, and everyone did the tapping, and dive bomb whammies back in the day just put everything out of tune, and if it was, I just never liked dealing with it. I mean, this thing's got enough crap down there. I'd rather have just a solid tailpiece, but that is blocked, so it doesn't move anymore. Otherwise, you could just take it and just it was for like little vibrato, but I do that with my hands. Any dive bombs, it's got to be done on a different guitar or punched in and done by someone else via music. But this is my classic. Hope I'm getting okay shots on this as I babble on and on. Let's see what else. I think I mentioned, I replaced the knobs and the electronics. I sprayed it with WD-40, which I don't know if it's the right thing to use on it, but probably not. That's a lubricant. But I pulled the pots out of there, the tone and the volume pots, and I replaced them with carbon stuff because, what were they, 500K? They were brand new and clean, and at the time I anticipated using this thing quite well. I did. It's been 30 years, but it was different back then. I'm not a guitar collector. I need something I can use, and this thing was already beat up, so it's not like I had to worry about damaging anything, because you get a new guitar or a classic, and they don't play them. They just, I need something I could work with. Those are new frets. Brand new frets, man. Well, not anymore. But I had this thing refretted back in 96. It was 96. Definitely not jumbos, but the other frets, it was just burned right down to the fretboard. It was beat up. So it did have two pickup covers on it. I took them both off. Both were just, relicked, as they call it today. They're worn out. They were shredded, beat up. I could put them back on for the relic look, but I really don't care about that. Nobody looks at this but me. It just stays in and just does work in the studio or what otherwise. Let me just flip this over and show you the back. See that? That's why I got it so cheap. Hang on a second. I'm going to be easy with this. People talk about Gibsons falling on the floor. Okay, so one thing I noticed, the neck was busted and re-glued, and I work pretty hard with stuff. I've broken it twice, and I've had to re-glue it and reclamp it twice with luthier glue, and fix it again. I think it's split there up the top here, and here's the serial if you guys want to geek out on that. I don't know. As near as I can tell, it's just early 70s. It's not like, But, so even with the repair, I mean, the tuning's fine. It holds. It's the intonation's good. so no worries. And then just going down a little bit. I hope I don't have to redo this. There's some information there. Somebody who had this before, their driver's license number. I won't go in on that, but I think there's some belt buckle scratches there. Again, it's already just, kind of beat up, so I don't have to worry about. These are new too. These are strap locks. Because, I don't want to continue breaking the neck on it. Because I don't have any more shatters before I have to go somewhere professional and have a luthier work on it. Do that. Oh my gosh. I think for a refret and dressing and all that I think that was around, I think it's $250 back when I had that done. But yeah. So this is the guitar. I don't know. My channel, whoever's watching this, I don't know if you're a regular, if you just dropped in on this, but my channel is a super small channel on YouTube, and in many ways considered like, dead. Not many people click on it. People wander in and whatever, so I'm just adding some other content to balance things out and add some more context behind the music I do. And this is the bugger I'll be playing Rebel Pride on. Whether or not I'll do a full face reveal, that remains to be seen. I could, but I don't know if people care. YouTube is weird. Again, that's why I'm, doing this video. Again, I apologize the way I talk. It's post-stroke, brain issues. I tend to stumble and wander a little bit. But anyway, so YouTube is weird in the way how they accept things. I mean, if it was maybe 2005, 2008, I could, upload this and immediately get like 5,000-10,000 views, but there's like nothing going on nowadays. It's all been done, or, they want you to be original or at least do your own thing. And things like face reveals and stuff like that, they end up, I'm not going to get any views unless I'm maybe 15 years old, a 15-year-old girl wearing a bikini and shredding, like Satch or Eddie or whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. That's the way it is. So, okay, go to the jack here. That jack. Hey, jack. That jack plate's new too. Either it was missing or it was just shredded. In fact, like a couple of the knobs, they just would spin because they were cracked and they're just kind of stuck on there. They kind of turned the knob, they kind of didn't, and never mind the pots. And they were just worn out, I don't know if this thing was stored in a barn or a shed or what happened, but again, this is, the working man's instrument, and yeah, so that's it. There's a little context behind the RockTracks archive guitar. I probably should have a note or do something saying RockTracks archive for a thumbnail, but whatever. I could generate something. Then I get yelled at for that. So I'll probably just write my thumbnail on a piece of notebook paper and take a picture of that and upload that. And that'll be nice, old school, a good starting point. A good starting point for what lies ahead. I don't know what the hell's going to happen then. I'd like to, go in, like I posted my record collection. Got a lot of records. I was given a few by my brother. But it's more of just, I didn't seek them out. They just, I bought, a ton of them. And I came upon the others. But again, records kind of came to an end in the 80s. And again, CDs, I got those too. People are actually collecting CDs. CD collecting is becoming popular. Also VHS. Just a side note on that. VHS tapes. Yeah, people talk retro, and it's weird because it's like a lot of this, I see it as it's just stuff I used, It's just not collecting or just, I guess, acquiring so I don't have to rebuy it, or having a song on a disc so I don't have to, do otherwise, stream it, but I don't really have a hoard. But all this old stuff is just stuff I used, and I just, haven't gotten rid of it. I just kept working, work, buying, new things. So I've got some old Morley pedals I can talk about in another video. A bunch of crap. Again, I'll just drop it when I do. This is just a free form, about as simple and basic as you can get in a YouTube video. Yeah. Gibby. I suppose I should talk about the Chinese guitars, huh? Again, if I was a kid, I can't believe like Firefly has these guitars. They have like Les Paul copy. I'm not getting paid by Firefly. I probably shouldn't even say anything. But my thoughts are, and from what I've heard, that those Fireflies, among others, but they are really close, if not, better than the old guitars. I shouldn't say the old guitars are better. They're saying now that the wood, has nothing to do with the tone. It's all in the speaker of the amp. What do you guys think? YouTuber. What do you guys think? Put your opinion in the comments below. Do you think that the sound comes from the wood? Or do you think the sound comes from the pickup? Ooh, that's dirty. I got an iPhone 7. I apologize for But, that's a bugger. That's a beast. That trim is a beast. And these strings are old. If I had a choice, I always wanted a gold top. But the Sunburst was there, and that's what I got. And I don't have money to keep, have guitars all over the place. So this works. You get, and again, look at my hands. I don't have an issue getting around this neck. I've got freaking huge hands. Yeah. But a lot of people feel the Gibson necks are kind of fat. Difficult to get around, but, I make it work. It's not exactly, easiest to get up there, but most of my stuff is riffing. And then just punching in. Or, using MIDI to fill in the blanks, per se, in music, so. But, yeah. Guitars never used to be that expensive. Well, I don't know. When I bought this, I think a Gibson Les Paul was about $2,500 or $2,800. And at that time, I was making $7.50 an hour. So, and plus rent and gas and insurance, everything else. It's like no way. There's no way. And the cheap guitars just went out of tune, and they just didn't quite sound right. And forget about amps and amp modeling. I mean, it didn't exist. The good amps were the tube amps, and then you had to change out the freaking expensive. That was the other thing. Tube amps are expensive. They were expensive, and then you had to change out the tubes, every 6 months, depending on how much you played. But you never would practice on a tube amp. Maybe in the band, but a lot of times, you would use your little beater amps to practice with, and then use the tube amp, when applicable because the tubes were expensive, but that's how the sounds used to be, man. So anyway, okay. Enough of Grandpa Gen X's guitar time here. I hit about 20 minutes, so that should be enough babbling. I'll re-listen to this and decide, oh, I got to dump it. It's crap. But if I make the perfect video, then YouTube's going to think, oh, okay, now he's got to just get better from that point. I think a raw starting point is a fresh place to start, and that is that, man. So, okay. This is RockTracks Archive, as in beehive. Yeah. Over and out. We'll catch you later. Feel free to drop a comment or something or request anything. People they dig some tunes on there, so I have stories behind every one. So Ride Like Hell, aka Rebel Pride, which is the pirate name, because it was pirated. No honor among thieves, man. But, I'll jam that out and show how it's played, and it's really easy. A, pull off, C, G, A, just hanging around an A, and then you go to A to a D, whatever. Anyway, I'll play that later. That's it. I'm going to cut the video now. Over and out.